Okay, welcome everybody back to our Menachos Shabbos Marathon, and we are sponsored by Shalom Fogel, Lila Nishmas Yaakov Zev ben Yudaya, Rivka Bas Yaakov Yosef, Tzivya Miriam Bas Gad, Yosef ben Sin ben Yaakov Zev, the Fush Shlemer for Moshe Arya ben Miriam, for a great shidduch for Chaya Tzivya Bas Shoshana Gittel, a great shidduch for Batya Bas Sarah, by Baruch Ian, Lila Nishmas Yaakov Chaya ben Abba, Esther Bas Yona, Avram ben Shmuel HaKohen, the Fush Shlemer for Libu Bas Aniel, the Fush Shlemer for Yosef Shmuel ben Miriam, and for healthy mommy, a healthy baby, for Ariel and Leora Bas Elza Rivka. Welcome back. Yeah, Pinchas Menachem and Leah should have a refuah shalem and b'sech Chol Yisrael. Great to see everybody here, and really, it's a chizik for everybody. Rabbi Kranz is joining us. It's a chizik for everybody. You know, people come, they see everybody come, they want to come also. So thank you all for being here and joining us.
Can I add a name?
Yeah.
Chaim Rafael ben Sarah.
Chaim Rafael ben Sarah. They should have refuah shalem b'sech Chol Yisrael. Okay.
Also Moshe David ben Esther.
Moshe David ben Esther, Shalom Dov ben Pesha, Moshe Meir ben Esther Fradel. Now, Yochai ben Rechama should have refuah shalema. So now, you know, a person, when he can't afford much, he brings a mincha, a meal offering. But you know something, Hashem judges by effort. And as we're going to learn in this incredible Mishnah, you bring a mincha, you got to do a lot of work. It might not cost much, but kol ha-menachos tu'unais shalosh me'as shifa. You have to rub it in your hand 300 times. V'chamesh me'as be'ita. And you have to pound it 500 times. It's amazing how much work you have to do. Now, when do you do that? So it's a machloikis. Shifa u'be'ita b'chitin. The rubbing and the pounding is when it's wheat, to help to soften it, to remove the chaff. Reb Yaisi Aimer b'batzik. No, it's done with the dough. Okay, we gotta mute people here again. Okay. Now, Kol ha-menachos, all menachos are boys. This is the simple pshat. Kol ha-menachos boys eser. It's always 10 loaves. Chutz melechem hapanim b'chavitei kohen gadol, because we know the lechem hapanim is 12, 6 and 6, and the chavitei kohen gadol is also 6 and 6. Shein boys shteim esrei. Divrei Rabbi Yehuda. Rameir changes it. Rameir kulam boys shteim esrei. All of them are brought 12. Chutz mechalas taida, because we know that that's 10 of 4 different varieties. Unaziris, which is 20 of 2 different varieties. Shem boys eser. So Rameir has a big chiddush that many of the menachos are 12 instead of 10 each. And the Gemara will tell us what they're arguing about. Tana, when rubbing it, it works like this. Shaf achas, you rub it once. Bad shtayim, then you pound it twice. Shaf shtayim, you rub it twice. Bayet shlalish, and pound it 3 times. And you do that sequence 100 times. No, 1, 2, and then 2 and 3. You do that 100 times, which gives you a total of 300 rubbings and 500 poundings. By Reb Yirmiyah, when you rub it, im tuyei va'asuyei chad, rubbing it back and forth is 1. Oidilma am tuyei va'asuyei trei, or rubbing it back and forth is 2. Take it. We have to wait for Eliyahu for that. Shifo b'ita b'chitin. Tanakama says that the rubbing and the pounding is when it's wheat. Rabbi Yaisi Aimer b'batzik. The shaila is, Ibayilu, when Rabbi Yaisi says b'batzik, does he mean also by the dough? Or does he mean only by the dough? Ibayilu b'batzik v'loy b'chitin. Al Dilma, he means that you'd have to do it after batzik, by the dough also. Tajma, The Tanya Shifu B'ita B'chitin is by the wheat. Rabbi Yossi is Shifu B'ita only b'batzik, only by the dough. Kol HaMenachos, this is the latter opinion of Rav Meir, right? That Kol HaMenachos Bois Shteim Esrei, that's the latter opinion of Rav Meir. So the Gemara says, first we do the first one. Kol HaMenachos Bois 10:10, except for Lechem Aponim and the Chavite Kayin Gadol, which is 12 each. So the Gemara says, Lechem Aponim Behed Yiksibbe, right? It tells us that there should be 2 rows of 6 beferish in the Torah. Chavite Kayin Gadol, how do we know that the Chavite Kayin Gadol is 12? Ask your Chuka Melechem Aponim. We learn out Gzeira Shava, Chuka from Lechem Aponim. Kol HaMenachos Habois Eser Minalan. How do we know that all minchas are 10 each? Gamar Melachmei Toida. That we learn out from the loaves of the Torah. Remember we said the loaves of the Torah are 4 variety, 3 matzah, 1 chametz, 10 each. Balahalan Eser, Afkan Eser. Says the Gemara, how do we know that we learn out other menachos from the Lachmei Torah? Instead, we should learn out other menachos from the Lechem Aponim, where there's 12. V'leilef melechem Aponim, ma'alahalan shteim esrei, just like the Lechem Aponim is 12, afkan shteim esrei. We should say that the regular menachos are also 12. So why do you learn it out from the Torah? Instead, rather learn it out from the Lechem Aponim. So now we're going to have to play the similar game. In other words, which one are regular menachos more similar to? So the Gemara tells us, Mistavra melachmei toida havelei l'meilaf. It's more logical, it's more reasonable to say that we learn it out from the loaves of the Torah, which are 10 each. Why? Shekain yochid, the regular mincha comes from a yochid, and the lachmei toida also comes from a yochid, an individual. Right? On the other hand, the lechem aponim is from the community. Hamisnadev, both are voluntary, while the lechem aponim is mandatory. Shemen, both the lachmei toida and the regular mincha has oil. The lechem aponim doesn't have oil. Nifsal, both lachmei toida and a regular mincha is disqualified if left overnight. That's not true with the lechem aponim, which can be kept for a whole week. They're both nifsal. And shaloi b'Shabbos v'shaloi b'tumah. Both the lachmei toida and a regular mincha can't be brought on Shabbos, and they can't be brought b'tumah. While the lechem aponim, which is a communal, is done on Shabbos, and it could even be done on tumah if you don't have a choice. So therefore, it's more mistavra that we should learn out a regular mincha from the lachmei toida, which is 10. Says the Gemara, Adarabba. If you should compare a regular mincha to the lechem aponim, shekain hektish, the lechem aponim and a regular mincha are kodesh kadashim, while the lachmei toida is kachim kalim. Ulavayna, both a regular mincha and the lechem aponim have levayna, while the lachmei toida don't have frankincense. Matzah, both the regular mincha and the lechem aponim are always unleavened, while the lachmei toida has 10 that are chametz. And the etzim, and both the regular mincha and the lechem aponim are brought on their own, while the lachmei toida is only a adjunct to the carbon toda. Says the Gemara, yes, but we compare it to lachmei toida, because hanach nefishin. Lachmei toida had how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. While this only has 1, 2, 3, 4. So therefore, that's why we compare it to the lachmei toida. Now, the Gemara says, but let me ask you a question. If you hold that something that you learn out from a Gzeira Shava, the Chavite Kain Gadol, that 12, we learned out a Gzeira Shava chuka from the Lechem Apanim. If we hold that something that you learn out from a Gzeira Shava chayzer malamed b'binyanav can then teach through comparison, so Neilef mechavite Kain Gadol. Why don't we learn out a regular mincha that it should be 12 from the Chavite Kain Gadol? Because Malahalon Shtei Mesrei, Afghan Shtei Mesrei. So now again we're going to have to see what's more comparable. Is a regular mincha more comparable to Lachmei Taida, or is it more comparable to the minchas Chavitin of the Kain Gadol? So the Gemara says, Mistavra Malachmei Taida Avalei Lamelech. Shekain Hedyet. Both Lachmei Taida and a regular mincha is bought by a commoner, while the minchas Chavitin is only bought by the Kain Gadol. Sheisnadiv, both are donations and not mandatory. Chatzain, both are not offered in halves, while the minchas Chavitin is offered in halves, half in the morning, half in the afternoon. Lepigel, both have pigel. The regular mincha and the lachmei taida could be disqualified with pigel. If you do the mincha and you do the kmitza having in mind to eat it after its time, the remainder after its time, or if you shech the carbon taida having in mind to eat it after its time, there's pigel. There's no pigel on the other hand by Chavite Kain Gadol, because the Chavite Kain Gadol have no matir. It goes straight on the mizbeach. There's no matir, there's no kmitza, so there's no pigel. And shaloi b'Shabbos v'shaloi b'Tumah. Both the lachmei taida and a regular mincha is not on Shabbos and is not brought b'Tumah. Says the Gemara, but the Gemara strikes back vigorously. Adarabah. Mechavite Kain Gadol avalei l'melech. We should learn how to regular mincha from the Chavite Kain Gadol. Who are their comparisons? Shekeni Yisaron, both the regular mincha and the Chavite Kain Gadol are in Yisaron. That's not true by the Lachmei Taida, which is much more. Both are sanctified in a Kli, while the Lachmei Taida is not. Hektish, they're both Kachim, while the Lachmei Taida is only Kachim Kalim. Ulevaina, they both have Levaina. Matzah, they are only made from matzah, while the Lachmei Taida has 10 loaves that are chametz. Etzem, they are brought by themselves, both the Chavite Kain Gadol and a regular mincha, while the Lachmei Taida is an adjunct. Hagosha, they are both brought and touched to the southwestern corner of the Mizbeach, while the Lachmei Taida is not touched to the southwestern corner of the Mizbeach. The Ishim, they're both consigned to the fire. A regular mincha and Lachmei Taida is consigned to the fire, while the 40 loaves of the Toda are not consigned to the fire. And the problem is, Vahani Nefishin. The comparison to Chavite Kain Gadol is more than the comparison to Lachmei Taida. So it should be that a regular mincha should be 12 each and not 10 each. Says the Gemara, yes, but hedyet mehedyet adiflay. We rather compare a regular person to a regular person and not learn out from the Chavite Kain Gadol, which is only by the Kain Gadol. Now, if you remember, Reb Meir disagrees. Reb Meir says that a regular mincha is not 10-10. A regular mincha is 12-12. Reb Meir Aimer Kulan Boy Shteim Esrei. They brought 12-12. So the Gemara says, "My kasava." What does Reb Meir hold? That which we learn out from a Gzeira Shava, namely the Chavite Kain Gadol, which is 12-12 from the Lechem Apanim, we could teach with a comparison. Yolef mechavite de Kain Gadol, because the Hani Nefishin, like we said, there's more similarities with the Chavite Kain Gadol than the Lachmei Taida. He learns out other minchas from lechem upon him, and even though we could learn it out from the lachmei taida, but since a mincha is kodesh kadashim, and the lechem aponim is kodesh kadashim, while the lachmei taida is not, hektish mehektish adifle. He'd rather compare that which is kachi kachim to that which is kachi kachim, and therefore it's 12 each. Now Rameir continues, chutz melachmei taida unaziris shein bois eser eser. Except that even Rameir agrees that the loaves of the taida, 40 are 4 different varieties, and the 20 loaves of the ayil of the nazir are 10-10. Eser eser. Lachmei taida behed yiksibu. Lachmei taida it says 10 beferish. Naziris, the Amar Mar, when it says the extra word shlomov by lachmei taida, that's the Rabbah Shalmei Nazir, that's also 10-10. Now the Gemara takes us on a different journey. We know that there's 4 varieties of 10 loaves each in the Thanksgiving offering. Amrav Tuvi Bakisna Amar Shmuel Lachmei Toida She'ofen Arba Chalas. If instead of making 40, you made of each variety 1 big challah, yotza. Says Gemara, I don't understand. It says we need 40. That's only the mitzvah. That's only the chatchila. But wait a second. You have to give a part of it to the kohen. You take a piece of each challah. It has to be a whole one. You can't take a piece. Says, well, no, that's no problem. You make a challah and you separate for the kohen when it's still a dough. Da'afrishinu belisha. So what you separated, you make into a whole challah. Meisvei, kol ha-menachos sheriba b'midas chalasan, all menachos that you increase the number of their challahs, or shemiat b'midas chalasan, or you make it less, ksheris, chutz melechem aponim v'chavite kohen gadol v'lachmei taida u'naziris. So you see by the lachmei taida and the naziris, you cannot make it less. You cannot make the lachmei taida less than 40, and the lachmei naziris less than 20. Says, no, you're right. That is one opinion. But who the Amar Ki Haitana, the one that says that you could make it 4 chalas, holds like the following Tana. The Tanya, Kalar Menachos Sheriba b'midas chalasan, or Shemiyat b'midas chalasan, all menachos that you made to more or less, ksheris, chutz melechem apanim v'chavite kohen gadol. Only the lechem apanim and the chavite kohen gadol. You see, he leaves out the taida and ayil nazir. V'yesh aimrim af lachmei taida and nazir. So it's a machlokes. Now, Amar Afuna, we know that the challah baked in the oven, what we call minchas mafetana, is supposed to be 10. Amar Avuna minchas mafetana she'ofa challah achas yotza. Here also, if you bake it into 1 challah, you yotza. My timer, matzah's ksiv. It says matzah's defective, so even 1 is good. Maskav Papa timer dechsiv matzahs haksiv matzos loy. But v'gabi lachmei toida dechsiv matzahs, and we said you could bake it into 4. Says Gemara, you're right, he argues on that. And he holds that it's only over here by the Minchas Mafetana where it says matzah is defective. By the Lachmei Taida, you can't do 4 loaves, you have to do 40 loaves. Now, and as we are proceeding, I should tell you now, because I don't want to forget, Mirz Hashem, tomorrow night, Hashem should help me with the Kayach. Tomorrow night and Monday night, we're going to have to learn 2 blot each. So tomorrow night and Monday night are also double headers. The reason being, because it's a 3-day Yom Tov with an Erev Yom Tov. If we don't do that, then on Matzah Yom Tov, we'd have to learn 4 blot. And while Mark is ready for it, but most people do not learn 4 blot. Yeah. Marshall says, what's the difference? 4 blot, 8 blot, I'm not coming anyway.
He wants to blot it out of his mind, yeah.
Yeah. Chal Abram says you're blotting it out of your mind.
Stop picking on me. I'm really a good guy.
Deep down, right?
Keep digging.
Yeah, deep down, all the way in Australia. Now, ha'omer ha'yaba isarin mishalosh son. The omer comes from an isarin sifted from 3 sa. Shtei alechem, the 2 loaves of shvuas, is shtei esrainim, is 2 esrainim, still sifted mishalosh sa. Lechem aponim is esrim v'arba esrainim, 24 esrainim, me esra v'arba sa, from 24 sa. So it seems to be that by the lechem aponim we don't have to sift that much, because we're getting 24 esrainim from 24 sa, while by the omer we get 1 isarin for 3 sa, and by the shtei alechem it's 2 esrainim from 3 sa, while by the lechem aponim we get 1 isarin from 1 sa, because it's 24 esrainim from 24 sa. So the Gemara explains why the difference. You know why when it comes to the omer we need a tremendous amount to get a isarin? My time a kaven the mechadish asi, since it comes from a new crop has more chaff, or misairin asi, and it comes from barley which has more chaff. Isarin mufka, you don't have a choice. Isarin loy asi ela mishal sa. Shtei alechem, there already you need a little less. You could get shtei esrainis mishal sa, because although it's not barley, it's wheat, but it's still the new crop of wheat. Kaven the mechitin asyan, afal gav the mechadish asyan, even though it's a new crop, but since it comes from wheat, there you could get 2 isarin from 3 sa. Shtei esrainim is also mishalosh sa. Now by the lechem aponim we could get 1 isarin from 1 sa, because lechem aponim esrim v'arba esrainim esrim v'arba sa. Why? My timer. Kaven the mechitin also, since it comes from wheat, umi yoshin also, and it's an old crop. Isarin mufka asi misa. You could get a pure isarin from 1 sa. Tan Rabbanan, kala menachos sheriba b'midas esrainan. All menachos that we increased the measure of their isarin, or shemiyat b'midas esrainan, or we did it less, psula. Riba b'midas san shalem, or shemiyat b'midas san shalem. If you, however, made more the pool that you started with, or even less the pool that you started with, as long as you end up with an isarin shevis. Now, ha'omer ha'yemenufa b'shloish esrei nafa. The omer was sifted with 13 different sized sieves. Shtei alechem b'shteim esrei. The shtei alechem was with 12. The lechem aponim b'yud aleph, and the lechem aponim was with 11. Now the procedure is first they used a coarse sieve where the bran stayed on the top and the flour came out. Then they used a fine sieve where the flour stayed on the top and the dust went out on the bottom. And they kept on alternating in that way. Reb Shimon says there's no number. Lo yalan kitzva. They made sure that it was flour sifted to the proper amount. You should buy silas and bake it. Actually, nufa kol tzarcha. It has to be sifted properly. Tanrabanan, bedaka, begasa, bedaka, begasa. The order of sifting was. Is this the opposite of what I said? This sounds like the other way around. First they used a fine sieve, and then they used a coarse sieve, and then a fine sieve, and then a coarse sieve. Shimon Lazar Aimer, Shleisha Esrei Nofes Hoya B'Mikdash. There were 13 sieves, Zulam al Mazu, Zulam al Mazu. Here, this is the way I said it. El Yoina Koleta Subin. The upper one was collected the bran, so the upper one was a coarse sieve, and it collected the bran on the top. Tachtaina, the one next to it, was a fine sieve, and collected silas, the flour stayed on top, and the dust came out. Reb Shimon Aimer lo yaya le'en kitzva. There was no set limit. Tan Rabbanan. Soiles v'afisa isa, flying flour you should bake. Malamed shnikacha soiles. It teaches you that it was bought as fine flour. In other words, it was already sifted. Umenayin shafilu chitin. How do you know that they could buy it, even wheat, and sift it themselves? Ta'amalayim v'lakachta mikol makim. Yachal af shar menachos kain. That other menachos also, you could buy wheat. Talmud Oisa. It comes to tell you that by other menachos, they only allowed you to buy wheat by the lechem aponim mipnei achisayon. Because of the expense, because the lechem aponim is a lot. So there they allowed you to buy wheat, which was cheaper than buying the flour. Therefore allowed them to buy the wheat, which is of course going to be less expensive than the highly sifted flour. Says the Gemara, Heicha Remiza, where do we have the idea that the Torah is Chas al Mamoinin Shel Yisrael? Dichsiv, because it says by the Be'er, this was the miracle well Shel Miriam, V'ishkisa es ha'eda ve'es be'iram. It was able to give drink to the assemblage and to their animals. So you see that the miracle of the Be'er Shel Miriam didn't only give drink to the, this was an unbelievable miracle. This is one of the most stupendous miracles. There was a mobile rock that moved through the desert for 40 years and gave more water than Niagara Falls. It gave to millions of people and their animals. Also, it was enough that they could plant things around it that they needed to bring for carbonas. It's unbelievable. And we see that the Rebbeinu Shem cared even about the property of Klal Yisrael taking care miraculously of the animals as well. Hadrulach elu menachos nikmatzos, Hadrulach elu menachos nikmatzos, Hadrulach elu menachos nikmatzos.